Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Good morning. Welcome into TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers. Sitting in the host chair this morning, two different faces. We got Naegeli and Callie Garner, the Tex Gals, as we like to call ourselves, filling in for David Nuno on vacation this week. How are you, Callie?
I'm great. It's a little earlier than I get to work every day, but I'm happy to be here.
Still waking up a little bit?
No, I've been up for like a solid 2 hours at this point.
Okay, yeah.
I'm good.
She's ready. Well, we're excited to be sitting in the host chair. We have, of course, Nick Savage calling the balls and strikes, as Bronny likes to say, and then Kaylee Dreyer in the News and Social Center. We'll get to them here in a second. But before we do that, just got to pay some bills. Of course, we are in the David Garner's Rollo Insurance Studio. Normally, this segment, we will sit in the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. We're not cool enough to sit there, so we have moved over to the main desk. If you want to text in, that is on the Catalyst Pure Performance text line. Make sure to do that as well. And of course, this is the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creation. So, Miss Callie Garner, let's kick off the Go Hour talking about some football, because there's never a bad time to talk about football.
Absolutely not.
Our first topic is, we're kind of like throwing different things around we wanted to get to, is just who will lead the team in blank. So we came up with a handful of topics that we're going to dive into. So I'll let you kick it off. First and foremost, who will lead the team in, this may be an obvious one, but passing yards?
Yeah, this is really tough for me. You know? I wrestled back and forth. You look at Marcel Reed, and he is able to run. And there's obviously, a bunch of unknowns, but I'm going to take the apple that's right in front of me on this one, and I'm going to go Marcel.
Yeah, smart. He obviously had a great season last year. I think he exceeded expectations for everyone, and he proved he can also throw a deep ball in crunch time. I know our great Connor O'Gara, who's been providing insight for us, has said that he threw 11 interceptions whenever he wasn't pressured. So obviously that number needs to go down a little bit, but we did see him be reliable, especially in this South Carolina game, where he was just airing it out. He didn't necessarily run down the stretch. You kind of wanted that a little more, it seemed. The fan base did, at least. But I feel like that's a really obvious one to go Marcel Reed here. Let's go to number 2, which I feel like this could be an interesting one. Let's go receiving yards.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one, and kind of like the other one. I think I'm landing on Mario Craver. Okay. I think his connection with Marcel that you had built last year, he had 917 receiving yards last year as basically wide receiver 2, because you're splitting yards between him and KC. And I know everyone is really excited about Isaiah Horton, and I think there is a lot of potential there with him and Marcel. But I think year 2 of the connection between Marcel and Mario, I'm going to take Mario leading the team in receiving yards.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Horton on this one.
Okay.
I'll go different than you. I think Horton will pick up exactly where KC left off, and it's very nice to have a bigger bodied wide receiver out there. I know Aggie fans have been wanting that since Noah Thomas left. They've been wanting someone out wide that can be a little more stout, make catches like that one you saw in the spring game. I'm looking for number 7 to pick up right where number 7 left off last year, which also kind of leads me into my next topic. I think touchdowns. I think Isaiah Horton will catch many touchdown passes this year. He will lead the team. Obviously, his production at Miami and Alabama stood out, and that's why he was one of the most coveted players in the portal, and Mike Elko and company got him. So That's going to be mine for touchdowns.
Okay. I'm going to go Jamarian Morrow.
Okay.
I think A&M gets into the red zone and they run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely see some deep balls in Isaiah Horton, having a ton of touchdowns. But I think Jamarian is going to be our go-to in the red zone, and I think he's going to punch it in from the short yard out, and I think he's going to lead the team.
Okay. Interesting. I like that take because my only hesitation would be that I feel like him and Ruben are going to split carries quite a bit, but you never know. I mean, he could always be the guy that they go to in the red zone, more of that stout, bigger bodied type of bruiser, and you never know.
I think too, if you have someone like Jamarian Morrow leading the team in touchdowns, that means that you have a really solid running back room, and I think if you're going to have
I feel like that means you have a good O-line
team,
too.
and you've got success on every front on the offense. I think if a sophomore like him is leading the team in touchdowns, so that's where my projection's going to go.
Yeah. So you also think O-line's going to be pretty good, is what I'm hearing.
I would love to see it.
Yeah. And it's cool. We've had a couple of those guys in here, and I know we get to know them on different fronts, and you want to root for them whenever they come in because they're all like such great guys. Cohen Eccles came in here a couple days ago, and he's talking about how his religion and his academics and his strength has all exceeded since he's been at Texas A&M.
Right.
It's like, okay, I couldn't be more happy for you.
Yeah, I want you to do well. So
yeah,
for sure.
Let's flip the page. Let's go to sacks.
I'm gonna go Anto Saka.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see him in the maroon and white, and I think that there's a lot of potential for a lot of damage to be done on that side of the ball from him, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm torn between him and Marco Jones.
That was my debate too.
I think Anto obviously has a bigger sample size of what he's been able to do throughout his career, but you never know what Marco Jones can do, especially watching Cassius Howell this past season. I mean, he's learned exactly what needs to be done to be disruptive off the edge, and he's done it in some big moments as well in this Arkansas game, in that LSU game. Like, he has consistently gotten to quarterbacks, especially mobile quarterbacks like Taylon Green, who want to escape the pocket and try to run. Marco Jones is he's a leaner guy too. He can definitely run and catch up to some of these people. So I'm really looking forward to having a breakout year off the edge.
Yeah, and I think something too about him was you watch him play last year, and there was never a moment where you looked at him and you were like, oh yeah, he's a freshman.
Yeah.
I think he showed a lot of maturity in what he was able to do last year on the field, and I think having a year of experience now under his belt, he's gonna run the table. So I think it'll be close between the both of them for sure.
Yeah. Let's go interceptions. I think we had different views on this one.
Probably. Mine's not necessarily out of left field, but I'm gonna go Dalton Brooks only because shout out to TexAgs NIL content. We did a captain's lunch that Billy Lucci previewed the other day, and he was kind of talking about how that's the area that he wants to improve in. And I think that having someone like Dalton Brooks, who is able to move all around the field, he's quick, he's agile, and having someone like him lead the team in interceptions, I would love to see it, and I think that would be a successful season for him, is what he described. He just wants to get better at putting his hands on the ball, and yeah, that's who I'm going to go with.
Mm-hmm. And he had a bunch of turnover plays last year, and he was great in crunch time when you needed him. And I think this year, it's really important for him to have a good year for draft's sake.
Oh, absolutely.
I know it was maybe thought about this past year, but you look at what he did in some of these games, and he was a big reason that Aggie defense had so much success, and then set the offense up for success as well. So I also am expecting a big year out of him. I'm going to go the inverse way. I'm going to go to one of our quarterbacks, Ricky Gibson III. I got to talk to him the other day, courtesy of our great Texas Aggies United interviews that we do. Shout out Callie Dreyer for setting those up. And normally corners have this reputation of being these big, bad, very quiet, very to themselves type of guys. And Ricky couldn't have been more nice, more grateful to be here. And obviously he missed last season at Tennessee, but I really think he's going to come in and play with a chip on his shoulder, being injured last year. He's going to be a graduate, like Nick's great graphic. He had 5 pass breakups in 2024. I think some of those could turn into picks. Also, I mean, we have to shout out Des Ricks here because I feel like he is also going to take another step in his development in maroon and white, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that duo at corners. So yeah, I added one on here that we hadn't talked about, but I think tackles. Let's continue talking about defense. Who will lead the team in tackles?
This one I feel like is the most up in the air out of all of them.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to go DJ Hicks just because he's been here. And I think he's a Katie boy.
Yep.
You know, we've seen what the Katie products can do at A&M. I just think that he's set for not necessarily a breakout year, but I think that's where my brain wants to go with that pick.
Yeah, being a run stuffer up the middle, it seems like he watched Albert Regis grow and grow here.
Yeah,
definitely knows what it takes to get that done.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the linebacker, and obviously we don't know the status on Damian Sanford when he will be back. We're not going to project on that, but I'm going to go someone that I also think will have an impact on that front. I'm going to go Ray Coney.
Okay.
The transfer from Tulsa. He's going to be a senior this upcoming year. Really looking forward to seeing what he did. He had a lot of production at Tulsa. I think under Mike Elko's system, especially harping on what the linebackers do, he can step up and kind of be a leader in that room. And even though he's a first-year guy, I don't necessarily think it matters. He had 129 tackles in 2025. If you even get, similar production here, that's going to be a guy that we're talking about for a long time. So I'm going with Ray Coney.
Yeah, I like that pick. And I think on that front, I don't think Noah McHale is someone to count out there too, just because he's kind of someone that I looked at like Marco Jones. He didn't get necessarily as much playing time as Marco did last year. But when you look at some of these guys, you just don't assume they're freshmen.
Yeah.
With the way they look on the field and the way they play. Now, of course, everyone has moments here and there. But I think that he's also set for a breakout year at the linebacker position.
Yeah, a lot of stout freshmen on that team last
For
year.
sure.
It's crazy looking back at this, and we're like, wow, they got so many reps, and they have a potential to be developed even more within this program.
Reps, when you had a player at a position like linebacker who had been here for 3 years and captain in Torian York, and someone who, was always on the field, and then you're getting someone like a freshman like Noah McHale. So it's cool for them to also learn from each other.
Absolutely. All right, well, we're going to go behind the glass to our best friend, our beloved coworker, Nick Savage, and get his thoughts this morning. Good
I've
morning,
only
Nick
counted
Savage.
one stolen joke from me this morning, the Cool Zone joke. That's my joke, so thank you for giving me credit for that, Kay. But, y'all talked about receiving yards and touchdowns and whatnot. I'm going to tie it back into something that's good off-season content, right? I know y'all are big gamers, right? EA college football video games coming out, the new version. Mario Craver was rated as a 91 overall. He's the 7th highest rated wide receiver in the video game, at least when it comes out. So if that projects to, anything on the field, he could be wide receiver 1 or 1A, 1B, right, with Horton and Craver. So I like him maybe to lead in receiving yards because his yak potential is also kind of crazy. And why not? He could also lead in touchdowns. So he could be the clear choice for a few of those categories that y'all laid out. But in K, good choice on the tackles decision. We were all like, Ray Coney, right? It's Ray Coney. And then you picked Ray Coney. So good job.
Oh,
Great job so far, ladies.
Just wait.
I was going to say, we're going to look back on this in a year and be like, man, we were either so right or we were so wrong.
Also, thank you for letting me speak on the show. A man can speak on the show, so I appreciate it.
Nick Savage, we would never hold you off. Our favorite producer and coworker, he knows that.
Big brother.
Oh, man. All right, we're going to go over to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center where our roommate and also best friend sits. Callie Dreyer, how are you this morning?
I'm great. How are y'all?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
It was a little bit of a hard morning getting here super early, but
See, y'all are just exposing yourself. If you can't get up when the sun rises, we gotta
pause. I am always up when the sun rises. I just am not necessarily out of bed.
Also, can I say something too? I like how y'all open the show and you're like, "Oh, how are you this morning?" Like y'all don't live together.
Okay,
like you
I
haven't
will
already
say,
seen
We
each
did all
other.
drive separately.
We did all drive separate because we never know when we're gonna leave here.
Wait,
And
Callie drove herself?
She did.
Oh my.
I also
Proud
don't
of you.
think I didn't see Callie this morning before we got to work, so she was getting her Starbucks, and I saw Kaylee briefly as well. So just trying formalities.
We actually, this is actually the first time we're all three sitting and talking to each other this morning.
Yeah, so I'm asking how my friend is, Nick Savage. Kaylee Dreyer, what you got for us this morning?
Yeah, so I actually want to get into some softball really quick. Former Aggie softball player Mac Barbara was selected in the AUSL reserve pool by the Chicago Bandits on June 23rd. And last night on June 24th, she hit a 2-run homer to bring her team within one of the Texas Volts. They didn't end up pulling it out, but it was cool to see her first pro home run.
Yeah, I got the great privilege to cover Mac Barbara in just her lone year here, and she was always so great when she sat down in here. She transferred from Ole Miss and wanted to be in the SEC to obviously prove herself, and I think she did that. She had either 20 home runs or around that range, and I'm really excited for her to get the call per se to go to the AUSL and already having success there. So that's awesome. Kaylee?
I do have one more thing. So the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team training camp roster was announced, and the Aggies do have 2 players on that, Nico Partita and Jorian Wilson, as we expected.
Yeah, I think there's no surprise there.
Yeah.
I think even, before they were announced as they were invited to the training camp, I think that there's no surprise that it's those 2 that are going to represent A&M on Team USA.
Mm-hmm. Talk about some freshmen that we had on campus this past year.
And could you, Marco Jones was the player that was technically brought in to play both, and I know that is incredibly difficult at the college level, but could you imagine having someone like him too as a freshman on that baseball team this past year?
Yeah, would have been really. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the A&M football / softball home run.
That was a lot of fun last year.
Softball game that they do.
Yeah.
Keati Armstrong had quite the performance. I remember that, but I'm like, man, if Marco Jones starts taking some swings.
See, something like that, I'm so glad they have fun. I'm always of the mind, please do not get hurt.
Yeah.
I love the idea. I think it's so awesome. It's great. It gives me anxiety.
Well, especially Sydney Lessentine and Cindy Peters were out there too, and I'm like, just don't hit them.
Please
don't hit them.
We need you both equally.
Yeah. Well, and then Coach Elko took an at bat too, and he was rounding the bases. And that's a fun event for sure, and I'm glad that they were doing that for the second time because I think even the softball girls had a lot of fun with it.
Absolutely.
Maya Perez won the home run derby, and I think Maddie Sawney is going to give it a go this year.
Yeah.
So I expect also big things out of her in that game and in 2027.
Definitely.
But we're going to hit a quick break. When we come back, we will do some discussion on the Texas A&M volleyball roster. Gonna get some thoughts on that for this upcoming fall. This is TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers.
A little Carrie Underwood on a Thursday morning. Can't complain about that.
Pretty good. Great song pool.
Thank you. I picked the music today, everyone, and my co-host
So
and my
blame
friend.
Callie if it's bad.
Yeah, absolutely. But you won't be doing that because it's great. We are going to get into a little bit of a volleyball roster breakdown coming off a national championship season. It's still crazy to say that.
Yep, it is.
We were talking to Logan and Ava 2 days ago, and just you were talking about on your show, Humble Brag, the Set, Kay's new volleyball show. Check it out if you haven't already. Just if it has set into them. Yet.
Set in a lot of words.
I know. The set. And they were like, I don't know if it ever will. And that's from a player perspective and someone who got to cover it and go watch them live in person in Kansas City. I don't know if it will ever set in that we were there for that either. But still something that is so awesome. And the show goes on. So looking at the season this year, who is a returner that you think takes a very large step forward?
That's a good one. I'm gonna go. I think you could go Kendall Stowers on this, but I don't think she has a ton of steps to take forward.
I mean, when you're the MVP,
yeah, like I don't know how you build on that.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I asked her perspective about that one time because I was like, how do you go from here? You're an All-American. You won the whole dang thing. You were named MVP of all of it. Like, how do you go about telling yourself you can be better? And her and her brother, Eli Stowers, who's now with the Philadelphia Eagles, have a great approach on that. Like, they just continuously each day, if they can do everything day by day to get better, like the end result will ultimately be greater. And she's such a great perspective to watch. And I'm really looking forward to seeing her this year. But as for a returner, this sophomore class, there's 6 of them. So and this is the class that was freshman last year. They got to kind of wait in the wings and see the national championship. Megan Fitch and Addie Applegate got heavy reps during that run. So I think I may go Addie Applegate. She has potential to be their libero this year. Like she watched Ava Underwood this entire season and saw what a great leader she was and how much production she could have on the floor just from the back row. I do think Gabby Rodriguez is going to give her a run for her money. We'll talk about her in a little bit, but Addie Applegate, she was at that camp we were at yesterday, I think has the potential to step up and be a leader. She knows exactly what it takes to win at this level, especially in the SEC, and I think she's going to be one to watch for sure.
Yeah, I like the Addie Applegate pick. I think that she got the best experience that you can as a freshman college volleyball player. Yeah. She got to see as many games possible that they played. They went all the way to the end, and they saw kind of what it took to get there, starting from day one when they first got on campus. So I like that pick too. I think Megan Fitch is another great one. Yeah. I think she is kind of in the same position as Addie, got a lot of reps on a championship winning team. And I'm excited to see both of them. Talk about Gabby Rodriguez on that front. Is there a freshman that's coming in that people probably don't know about that you think is expected to make an impact right off the bat? Yeah,
get ready to learn Gabby Rodriguez. She is incredible. I got to watch her in the spring matches, and I'm like, there's no way she was probably 17 when she got to campus because she enrolled early. So 17, 18-year-old. She was the number 2 libero in the 2026 class by Prep Volleyball. We know Jamie Morrison can recruit. That is no secret. And Gabby's impact in the back row has all the makings of having another special team. And Ava Underwood was so good at what she did. And she was I felt like the team was so constant and present when she was back there because they're like, okay, we're good. We know Ava's got us. Right. Like, we know Ava is here. I think Gabby Rodriguez has potential to do that in very short order. She can get to any ball on the court. She will literally sacrifice her body to do so. And she's also seeing, and it's funny with like the volleyball ranks now, they're seeing elite level hitting at such a young age that when they get to this level, I feel like it's not entirely new to them. Like they see arm swings that are upwards of 30, 40 miles per hour.
Even yesterday at that camp, there were some like probably 10, 11-year-olds who were hitting the ball past the line on the other side. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like these kids are so
velo
strong.
goes up like crazy. I know Bronny's like, oh, velo in baseball. Like it's velo in volleyball is a real thing too.
Yeah.
And especially with some of these serves, you can get top spin on it. Like they hit it pretty well, like starting at a young age now. And we talk about Maya Obog. She can jump out of the gym and she just has the arm slot that is so quick and can destroy opponents very quickly. So that is something that Gabrielle Rodriguez has seen for a while. And I'm going to call my shot now. I think she's a libero for the 2026 season. I think she has potential to be so good. Even though she is a freshman, I don't think it'll matter. Yeah. She will get so many reps. Her and Addie, that battle, I will be interested to watch this upcoming fall. It's going to be a good one. I think both of them have absolute potential to do that. I just think having Gabby at libero and then Addie at DS gives you some, you can get some different rotations going. You know that Addie is going to be a constant for you. And I think Gabby just has that ability to take you over the edge a little bit in the passing game. So
yeah. And I think, your comparison to Ava, I think people will be excited to hear that because her calmness on the court and what she brought to the entire team when she was on the court was so evident to people watching. And losing someone like her on a team like that can be detrimental. Yeah. So it's nice to hear that there is someone who is of the same presence that is kind of coming in to hopefully replace her in the best way that she can.
Yeah, you can also, like with Ava didn't serve last year as the libero. So if you want to take that off of Gabby's plate, make sure passing is her only priority, then you can be able to rotate in another server that you feel really, really confident in for Addie. So you can kind of mix and match some things. And I think that's Morrison's style of volleyball more so than just let's throw them all out there and see what sticks. Like he's going to be very structured in the way he goes about things. So
yeah, which I think will be very helpful this year, considering kind of something we saw across the board in the Final Four last year, not just with A&M, but a lot of service errors. I mean, especially in that final match, it was like something that felt like it was killing them and they were up a ton, but it just kills your momentum. So being able to have someone who's focused on that and someone that you can bring in who is a safe bet on that front will be really helpful too.
Yeah, and Afena and Maddie Walk last year were great at the service line. So that's another thing that I'm really interested to see is where does that pick up? Like I haven't necessarily watched Lily Nicholson serve a ton, but if she is the starting setter, like what does that look like? And then your middles, like what kind of production are you getting out of them on that front? I know you'll have front row production, but I think it is so important to be impactful at the service line. We saw that so much last year. And yeah, aces or errors can shift momentum really fast. Completely. It's a complete game of momentum. And when you give up a point just because you hit the net with the serve, I mean, it can be detrimental for momentum. Like you may be able to rally and be like, okay, we're good. We got it. Let's put it behind us. But it definitely can impact the way that you start to think about the game of, okay, we just gave up that point. Now they're within 2. How do we go about this? So there's different things that the staff is always very in tune with it. The service line is very, very important in collegiate volleyball.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about challenges on the court with serving and all those things. Let's move to opponent challenges. And who do you think, as far as who the Aggies are playing this year, is going to be the biggest threat or the biggest challenge to them that they face?
Yeah, I need to pull up their schedule really fast. They have a great schedule this year. And I know last year Morrison talked about wanting to schedule, I watched his interview that I did with him a year ago, and he talked about wanting to schedule one more top 10 opponent at home. And I think A&M has the potential to have a couple of those top 10 opponents come to town. Obviously, we talk about Kentucky being the one that they faced in the national title match, and obviously they're going to be great this year, but I'm also really excited for some of these out-of-conference matches. I mean, you're kicking off the season at the AVCA First Serve, which is something you have to be invited to and face Louisville. I mean, talk about a match that's going to be. I'm really excited for that one. And then you go and face SMU, who if y'all aren't familiar with what SMU is kind of perceived as in the volleyball world, they're a little bit of the Texas Tech right now.
Yeah.
When it comes to volleyball, not a lot of programs necessarily are fond of them right now. They have money to spend. They are the ones that initiated that the playing in Jerry World, the 4 teams that are going to go play in Jerry World. SMU is going to be a part of that. So they definitely have the roster to be great. They have the money and the just donations to be great. So I'm really looking forward to that. Obviously, A&M played them twice last year. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then Texas A&M Invitational, you get GCU, Arkansas State, Cal Poly in there. Just a lot of good reps. The Big Ten SEC Challenge, Purdue, Indiana, and then, Wisconsin is the big game. I cannot wait for that at Reed Arena. That's going to be at September 11th. That's going to be at the Arizona State weekend, the second weekend of football season.
Yeah.
That's going to be a blast. Cannot wait.
Yeah, you look at a lot of these games you mentioned, and for some of them, it's going to be considered a get-back game for A&M, but then you have teams like Kentucky and Louisville who they're wanting to get their get-back against A&M. Sure. So there's going to be battles on both sides with a lot on the line for both teams or all teams involved. But as you can see, we could talk about this volleyball team and roster and schedule forever. But we'll go to a break right now, and we'll come back with some exciting news about our past year's roommates. So if you're curious about that, stay tuned. But as a reminder, the final segment of the show is brought to you by Double Dave's, and that is at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12 at 979-693-1150 will hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's, serving Aggieland since 1984. Double Dave's Pizza, serving up your favorite pizza and world-famous pepperoni rolls with reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. I love Double Dave's. I don't know about you. I've been a loyal College Station girl since I was born, and I've been relying on Double Dave's forever. So just click doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way.
Hey everyone, David Nuno here of TexAgs Live. I want to introduce you to the team at Holistic Planning. Got Jason Barber here, Taylor Pankratz, and also Paul Meredith. Jason, I want to start off with you. What really sets Holistic Planning apart from the others?
Yeah, so what makes us different is most financial advisors stop at investment management. On the other hand, Holistic Planning, we manage investments, taxes, and estate planning all on one team, all underneath one roof.
Now, Taylor, when everything is coordinated like that, it really helps the bottom line, doesn't it?
It really does. When your investments and taxes are working together, you stop leaving money on the table and keep more of what's yours.
Paul, Holistic Planning is trying to expand as well.
That's true. We just opened our Houston office, and we're looking for people who feel like their advisor isn't seeing the full picture, because that's exactly what we fix.
And Jason, there's other opportunities beyond that.
Definitely. If you're a financial advisor and you want to join the Holistic Planning team, we're looking to add 50 teams in the next 5 to 10 years. So check out holisticplanning.com/advisors.
All right, so if you want a team that actually coordinates everything, go to holisticplanning.com. Aggies, this one is worth it.
little Ella Langley on the Thursday morning, courtesy of Callie Garner's playlist over
Another
here.
banger. Like, oh my goodness.
It's still like soft enough to wake up in the morning a little bit, this part, but it's still a great song. We are back. This is TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers. The Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. And for this segment, Stephen McGee was not able to join us this morning, unfortunately. As he
Something about a private jet to Greece.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite.
I mean, I'd probably pass that up, but whatever.
So Stephen McGee not able to join us, but we wanted to do a little bit of a fun segment as we are all roommates. If the audience did not know, the three blonde girls at TexAgs, Kaylee, Kay, and Callie all work together, live together, and are best friends. So we see each other approximately every hour of every day. And we hosted the show right around this time last year before 4th of July, and we were reminiscing on this show. We had watched it and put it on our TV last night, just coming up with ideas and different things that we could do. And we were talking about moving in together, soon to be moving in together because we moved in mid-July. So we were like, man, we should talk about our experience this past year living together. So I believe Nick Savage has the clip of last year us talking about this when we were naive to the fact of what we were signing up for.
For those of you that don't know, Kay and Kaylee and I are moving in together 2 weeks
Talk
from
about
now.
a nightmare, right?
Yeah. So just get ready for all of the extra content that is going to be coming out of TexAgs the house. Yeah. So TexAgs the house.
TexAgs the house. Well, I don't think we've called it that, but
we've called it a couple things, but yeah, I don't know if that name has ever stuck.
Yeah. So what's your favorite memory of us living together?
Well, it kind of goes hand in hand with us being coworkers, friends, and roommates. But I would say maybe not necessarily favorite memory, but best story that has come out of us being roommates. I'm going to start at the end and go backwards, and I'm going to make this hour-long story into 2 minutes. I was in my room, and my room is like the closest room to the living room. And we were all three sitting out there, and I walked into my room for something, and I heard them whispering in the living room. And I immediately just assumed that because they're whispering, they are talking negatively about me because it wasn't close to my birthday. It wasn't like a big thing coming up. Like there's no surprise they could be planning. So my mind immediately went to, oh, they're talking some crap out there about me. And so
would never.
I just decided I was going to go put my foot down and ask them what was up. And I walk out there and I get so angry and I'm like, you guys have to tell me what y'all are talking about. Like, I literally heard you're caught. Like, just be honest. And Kay looks at Kaylee and she's like, should we tell her? And I was like, yes, like you have to tell me. So long story short, about probably 2 months prior to this, Kaylee had taken my Apple Watch off the couch and she just starts, did you play a song immediately?
Just playing with it.
Yeah. And the song started playing on my phone. And I was like, what in the world? Like, well, how did my phone do this? And it became this incredibly long, drawn-out prank that everyone in the office knew about except for me. And if you don't know me, I'm a jukebox. I walk around singing every single song that's on my brain. And anytime I would sing the song, Kaylee would search on my watch on Apple Music and play the song, and it would start playing on my phone. And I got so freaked out. And everyone in the office was in on it. Bronny, even Garrett was in on it.
Yep.
The whole squad knew that this was a prank that they were pulling on me. And I mean, a baseball player would come in and 5 minutes later, his walk-up song would be playing on my phone. Just like the most outrageous things. Bad Bunny, because of David Nuno. I don't listen to Bad Bunny. I was really about to take my phone to the AT&T store and tell them that it was incredibly possessed and things were wrong with it. I did wonder why it like only played in moments where it wasn't harmful to me. I was really worried it was gonna play at a Mike Elko press conference or something where I turned it off for a while when I would go to those things because I was so worried about it happening. But it was just an unassuming Kaylee Dreyer prank that lived for a very long time. But I think that's my favorite moment of us living together.
That was Kaylee. I have to give Kaylee credit. She started all of that. And then I will say I probably took it and ran with it a little too much. I was always at work before her, I'd get here early for the morning show or the radio show and I'd make sure it was charged and then I'd be like, okay, group poll, what songs are we playing today? Like, what are we feeling? And I had the interns involved. I had Garrett upstairs because I know you were like, Garrett, fix my phone. I'm like, Garrett, do not tell her. Like, we're playing songs on the watch to her phone. It was incredible. It's one of the best things that we've ever executed, and it was so funny. And we were not talking bad about you, but this is when the prank came to light, and I was like, we have to tell her. It has to come to an end, unfortunately. It could have gone on forever.
Oh,
and it
for
was
sure.
The best thing.
I was shocked, but it was a very good, harmless prank.
It was so fun. Everyone was involved. Bronny, every time Bronny or Richard talked about it, they started laughing so hard. They're like, this is the best executed prank I've ever seen. And it only worked because we lived together, we worked together, we were always together, and I was always connected to Bluetooth in some way because you were in proximity to me. So it was awesome.
I don't know how I never put it together, though, that I could not find my Apple Watch, and when I was at work, it would tell me it was at work, and when I was at home, it would tell me it was at home. And I didn't know how it was moving to and from both places without me knowing that I didn't have it, but
I had to carry my old Apple Watch charger around just to make sure it was charged to keep this up. It was an all-timer.
I was oblivious. It was an all-timer.
Callie Dreyer, what has been your favorite moment of us living together?
I don't know if I have a favorite moment, but I will say some of the funniest times are whenever we have found, I don't know if I would say insects or, but I don't know, things that I will not look at, touch, whatever. Anyways, it's always a really funny time. And the last one, a lizard got into our house, and Callie somehow had set her phone up when we were trying, I was standing on the couch. They were trying to catch it. And she ended up editing this whole video. Anyways, it turned out to be like the funniest thing ever, and I wish we could show it. But yeah,
We'll
it's
spare you
just
guys.
always a great time.
Love screaming. Yeah, that's anytime we find any, it's normal. You find little things in your house from every now and then, and Callie absolutely freaks out.
Y'all have called me at like
True.
8 p.m. to
is very
come.
true.
Yeah, we're not infested, guys.
Yeah.
We just, I mean,
Things happen,
the occasional
there's-
cockroach is just like everyone's house, but
Yeah.
Callie Dryer's not fond of them.
She usually takes action really quickly. Kaylee's screaming, and I try to be the voice of reason. And then we end up calling Nick Savage.
Who never shows up, by the way.
Yeah, what the heck is
Because
that
they're
about?
bugs. You can get them yourself.
Well, thank you for that. We've learned to get them ourselves.
I will say one more thing. Someone in the YouTube chat said TexAgs need a bumper sticker.
Oh, man. Need to get
I could be
those
down for
made.
that.
Yeah. We just have to move the G. We have to figure out how to make it the actual TexAgs branding.
TexAgs with a Z, maybe?
I don't know about that one. I don't think that's fondly looked upon. All right, we have one more segment of the Go Hour that we're going to get to on the other side. This is TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers.
Hey guys, David Nuno here to talk about our new partners with EventPipe. They are a leader in hotel booking technology, and now they're giving you a chance to support Aggie student athletes every time that you travel. Thanks to their partnership with United and EventPipe, whether you're heading into a game, a business trip, or family vacation, every room that you book comes with cash back in the pockets of Aggie athletes. That's a wonderful deal. And with EventPipe, you'll get discounted hotel rates up to 20% lower than the major travel sites, while enjoying a fast, easy booking process. They've even created Presto, EventPipe's quick launch booking solution. It lets organizations build branded hotel sites powered by live hotel inventory, making it simple to book the perfect stay. So next time you want to book a trip, do it the smart way with EventPipe and support Texas Aggies NIL through United. Visit their website, tau.eventpipe.com.
Welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We got a little Megan Maroney bringing us back this morning. We're big Megan Maroney fans. If you couldn't already assume by our blonde hair, it just feels like it's natural that we're fans of her. We went to see her at the rodeo, all three of us together. It was a great little roommate outing. We'll go back to our previous topic just a little bit, Kay. I want you to share your favorite moment or memory from living with us.
Yeah.
It's never boring.
It never is. In between the amount of obviously work to do, and we all work in different departments, and I think that's cool because all of our jobs blend together a little bit. So I'm always hearing like the ins and outs of Kaylee's job and the ins and outs of your job. And I'm like, oh, here's what happened on the show today, which I think is really fun. I don't know if I have one specific I can pinpoint. I feel like I love to cook, and I feel like whenever we have dinners together is some of my favorite time of when we're chefing in the kitchen, and my girls always make the salad, and I'm like, hey, it's time to make the salad. I think those are always some fun memories that I'm gonna look back on when I'm much older with the family and be like, I used to do this with my best friends and my coworkers and my roommates. So those just in specific. Just a couple different times that we've done that sticks out to me. So
yeah, those are some great nights, and I don't think Callie and I have ever failed on the salad. So
no, always deliver.
You're welcome. Let's get into a little bit of softball talk really quickly. Look at their roster a little bit for next year. Some of the transfers they've brought in, highlighted by Italia Rijo. And just what she might be able to do on the diamond for the Aggies.
Yeah, wanted to touch on, we haven't talked about this on the show. She visited last week and committed this week. She's from Arkansas. She was a shortstop, played shortstop there this past season. She only has 1 year of eligibility, so it's going to be an in and out, but I really am looking forward to see what Trisha Ford and company can do from the development side. And, she doesn't necessarily need it. She hit .342 last year, was a really reliable player. Like I said earlier, she did play shortstop, so looking forward to see what she's going to do in the middle infield. I don't know what the staff's plans are on what KK's, where KK wants to land. She played second her freshman year, moved over to short this past year, so it's going to be interesting to see how that all kind of shakes out. But I absolutely love the get, and they could be looking to add one more.
Yeah. Really excited to see what Trisha Ford and company can do next year on the diamond. Don't forget, Callie Dreyer is in the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Text her at 979-693-1150, and she will get your messages read live on air to contribute to the conversation. We've got some all Aggie sports superlatives coming up on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. This is TexAgs Live presented by David Garner's Jewelers.
Little Kojo to kick off the 9 o'clock hour. This is TexAgs Live presented by David Garner's Jewelers. If you missed the 8 o'clock hour, I'm sorry. It was a great one. Kay Naegeli and Callie Garner sit with you in the host chair, and we're going to do a little Aggie superlatives for next season. We tried to steer clear of another content idea that we have coming to TexAgs soon that we don't want to say too much about, but it has something to do along these same lines, and I think our subscriber base will really enjoy it. But we do have a couple of questions. This is going to be for all sports, so our answers can branch from volleyball, football, softball, all of the above, women's tennis, golf, you name it. So we're going to kick it over to Callie Dreyer in the Angry Elephant News and Social Center for her to read some of these for us.
Yeah, so the first one we have is, who do we think will have the biggest impact on their respective team? And again, this is all sports.
I'm gonna kick it to you because this is the one that I struggled with.
Yeah. My brain immediately goes to Luciana Perez of the women's tennis team. I mean, she didn't lose a singles match this past season, so building on that, A, will be hard, but B, she's been so incredible in her career here, and I could see her bringing home 3 national championships. It would not surprise me, especially with Mark Weaver's and the team's addition of Olivia Lincer, the 2024 Big 12 Player of the Year. That's going to be really exciting to watch. So off the top, I go to Luciana Perez will have the biggest impact.
Okay. I think I'm going to go Mackenzie and Baco. Because I think last year at this time, we were really excited to see Mackenzie. Granted, a lot of the noise and hype we were hearing came from TexAgs' own Luke Evangelist. Yes. And I think some of the potential we saw from him, I think Luke was accurate in his comments that he had made.
Yeah.
I just think that, the injury was too strong for him to overcome last year. And I'm excited to see him back at full strength and what he can bring to the A&M basketball team this year.
Yeah, I think we'd be remiss to not say Marcel Reed. His impact has so much weight on that football program. Kendall Stowers with the volleyball team, I absolutely think can be just lead the entire offense next season. And I think her impact will be huge, just to name a couple more. Callie?
What game are you most excited for?
Ooh, this is a big one.
I've got a couple.
Go for it.
I think my safe game that I'm just going to put out there is Texas at home in football. It's year 3 of the Lone Star Showdown back at Kyle Field. I think this not only is going to be the year Elko gets it done, I think it has to be the year that Elko gets it done. I think you lose 3 years in a row to Texas, and there starts to be some concern about Sark versus Elko, not just in the overall grand scheme of the season, but just the head-to-head matchup. So I think it's got to be the year that the Aggies take it. I'm really excited for A&M to go back to Death Valley. You look at both teams' schedules, you get them early in the season. This is the week after LSU goes back to Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin plays them for the first time as the opposing head coach. A&M has confidence in Death Valley after last year. I think with all the storylines surrounding that, this year there's bound to be a ton of Aggies who travel to Death Valley, and I'm just really excited to see that game be played this year. And then on the basketball front, I think I'm just excited to see this stacked home slate that we have in men's basketball. I'm not going to single one out, but you've got Bama, Auburn, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Texas all at home. Some true blue bloods coming to Reed Arena this year, and I'm excited for all of them.
Yeah, those have potential to be top 25 matches too. I mean, Buckyball was snubbed of ever landing in that department this past year, and I definitely think now they're going to be put on noise a little bit more and be like, okay, this is a top 25 program, and they're here to make it to the second weekend.
Yeah.
Man, this is tough for me. I do have to go A&M football at LSU as well. The storylines in that one are going to be quite dramatic, and there's always theatrics with Lane Kiffin. We know that. Looking forward to maybe Bryce Anderson having a big game in that one, because I know Lane Kiffin's a big fan of him. At Tuscaloosa, I mean, that's being in, Bryant Denny is also always awesome. I think the Tennessee weekend here is going to be really cool. That's another big one to circle. But and Texas, of course. But I think if I have to go overarching weekend, we talked about it a little bit, but volleyball hosting Wisconsin on Friday night, and then you have a early kick against Arizona State, week 2 of college football season. Sign me up.
Yeah.
I'm ready. That weekend's gonna require a lot of caffeine, but I think that's where, game 2, you can kind of identify the strengths of this team a little bit more. You've seen it on field for the second week. You're like, okay, football's here. We're officially rolling. We get in the groove of things here. And then I think for the volleyball side, that game is going to define a lot of what you're going to see down the stretch of, okay, where is this team? Like, it can be used as a measuring stick to, they're not going to be last year. We know that. They lost 9 seniors. They are absolutely going to have to do work to overcome some of the difficulties that come with having some new roster and different changes and things like that. But that game in specific, getting Kelly, Sheffield, and all of them, the Wisconsin back in here, they're a known volleyball powerhouse. I'm ready for that one.
Yeah.
Callie?
What Aggie newcomer will be the biggest addition?
Ooh. Aggie newcomer.
I'm going to go baseball.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say Nate Savoy.
Okay.
I think there was a lot of hype, not only around him committing to A&M, but just entering the portal in general.
Yeah.
That was a big name that I feel like was talked about by a bunch of talking heads in baseball. And they were just speaking about what he was able to do at Clemson. He had 16 home runs, 52 RBI, finished the year with a 329 average at Clemson. And I think that there's a ton of potential for him to come in and have an immediate impact. And I think adding him to the roster, especially in a position like catcher, where you're losing Bear Harrison, who was a huge addition for the Aggies as well over the past couple of years. I think he's got a ton of potential to come in and be a huge addition for that team.
Yeah, I think on I'll stick on the softball front. The Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year, Maddie Azua, is going to get a lot of reps. I don't know if she's necessarily going to be declared the ace per se. I think you can look at it more of it's a three-headed monster now.
For sure.
You obviously, Maddie is someone that A&M has faced over and over again, and she offers different looks than per se Sydney and City. Really looking forward to getting her in here under Trisha Ford and that staff, just to develop her a little bit more and spend her final season in Aggie Land. And then I'm going to go back to volleyball because I really, really like what they did in the portal. Obviously, it's easy to capitalize off the momentum when they were coming off of that run. But they're bringing in an All-American in Natalie Ring.
Yeah.
And you have Kendall Stowers and Natalie Ring on the outside. I'd argue right now that's the best outside duo in the country right now.
Yeah.
You have two All-Americans there. No, I don't think anybody else can say that. They're both 6-rotation players, pin attackers. They can both close on the block and give you great swings at any time, even with out-of-rotation balls. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Natalie Ring, alongside the middles in Kaya Castle and Eliza Sharp.
Yeah.
The offense is going to look so different this year, running a lot more slides with Lily Nicholson at setter. That's going to be super fun to watch. So those two are definitely going to be ones to keep out for.
What team will make the biggest jump or have the most noise in the postseason?
I got to be careful here.
I'll take it for you.
Okay.
I'll go Buckyball.
Okay.
I'm going to go Buckyball. I think they can get to the second weekend. And I think that this Bucky is building a program that is able to sustain that per se. Mm-hmm. He did a lot with the little last year, and Luke Evangelist has hyped it up into the absolute oblivion. But even disregarding all the noise I hear from the mustache man, I really think Bucky has a lot of potential to win here. I think he has put together great rosters with in just the short amount of time that he's been here. I think that program can consistently be a second weekend team, even pushing into that Final Four conversation.
Yeah, and I think talking about that, you look at last year, and Luke said, everyone said they're going to win games they shouldn't, and they're going to lose games they shouldn't. And I think going into the season, I was like, okay, that's great. And then they go into Auburn and they take them down. They take Tennessee to overtime. They almost walk away with it in Tuscaloosa last year. They take Kentucky down at home. And then you look and you're like, okay, they took LSU to 3 overtimes. They almost dropped that one. They almost dropped Ole Miss. They dropped Missouri. And so in the moment, you're looking at some of these games and you're like, how did this happen and this happen? But I think we were prepared for that going into the season. This year, I think the roster that they've built has them set up a lot better for the style of play that Bucky has. And, you're returning Zach Clements, you're returning Mackenzie and Mbako, people who know the style of play and know just Bucky's playbook better. I can see that being a total home run answer for you. I'm going to go baseball. Okay. And here's why. You say jump, and you look at, the past 2 years. Year 1 under Early was no postseason. Year 2 was losing in a regional. So making the Supers would be a jump. Yeah. Making Omaha would be noise in the postseason. I think you've got year 3 under Michael Early. You bring Nolan Kane back. You've got a new pitching coach. You've got year 2 of Cliff Pennington. I think just with all the pieces they're finally putting together, and Early's got some really great head coaching experience under his belt. I see it finally coming together, not just during the regular season, but in the postseason for them as well.
Yeah, that's a great answer. With the staff moves that he's made, I'm like, yep, sign me up.
Yeah.
Like this I really think with Barry Enred as well, that was obviously a little bit of the liability on the pitching side this past season. I think it's going to look completely different, and that's exactly what A&M needs to take that next step. So, Callie?
What is the most under-the-radar team, and who is the most under-the-radar player?
Under-the-radar team. I feel like we've talked about a lot of these teams as having hype and momentum. So I'm trying to think. Someone's shouting at me back there. I can't tell what they're saying. I don't know, man.
I don't know if there is an under-the-radar team.
Yeah.
I mean, especially the big three, there's a lot of hype around those three. You've got softball, which we've talked about, volleyball, we've talked about, women's tennis. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can say the women's basketball program. I mean, they did go get some addition. I do think it's going to be really, really, really hard to replace Nyseer Pryor and Fats Janae. That is no secret. But they are a team that in the preseason polls is going to fall in that lower rank. So I think it's more for them about getting out of that per se. The SEC women's basketball is a gauntlet. Yeah. It is not easy with what Dawn Staley and Kim Mulkey have been built. It is not an easy out at all. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do this year. I do think personally it's going to be really, really hard to replace some of that production. They did bring in 4 or 5 transfers, I think. So I'm really, who's going to be running point? What does it look like down low? Like, Fats Janae had a double-double like almost every game. So on that front, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Player, I'm going to go back to football. I think your answer about Jamarian Morrow earlier was really good. I think he's going to be kind of seen from the national perspective as that number 2 guy per se. So I really like if he ends up leading the team in touchdowns, that means he's put on the map and people know about him. He has a really, really good freshman season last year. You could count on him out of the backfield. You could throw it to him. You could hand it off. Really looking forward to seeing him. So I think from the national media perspective, under the radar, Jamarian Morrow.
I like it. I'm gonna go player, and I am believing the Luke Evangelist propaganda, but I'm also believing my eyes in what I've seen. And I went to basketball practice on Tuesday, and I'm gonna go with Josh Irving on this answer. I think, he really impressed me in what I saw, and I know it was just a late June practice, but he's a 6'11" forward from Pasadena, California. Just watching him for even a few seconds, I was really impressed by what he was able to do. His size alone kind of jumps at you. And I know he's a freshman, and I think we've seen what young kids can do at A&M. And I think he's just a really good fit for the buckyball system. And I'm excited to see him play. And I think a lot of people don't really know his name yet or are aware of what he's able to do. Just because he doesn't have any college tape. He's a true freshman coming in, but I'm really, really excited to see him make an impact on that team.
Yeah, I even feel like from the national perspective, the men's basketball team can be seen as under the radar per se. We said it earlier, they weren't in that top 25 built ranking last year. Definitely can be one that exceeds that this season.
And you look at, they entered the postseason, and I think everyone had just tabbed St. Mary's as that winner in that round of 64 game.
Yeah.
And, you watch them play, and it was like, geez, I can't believe anyone picked against A&M in this game. And then we obviously saw what happened in the Houston game. And A&M they were not fit to compete with a team like that Houston had. But I think just going forward this season, a lot of more people will have their eyes open to what buckyball is and what they can do with the resources that A&M has. So I agree. I think they could be considered an under the radar team.
For sure. Speaking on the topic of favorite things that we did as roommates, we created a life-size March Madness bracket when it was March, and it's pink, and it's still up on our wall. We have yet to take it down.
It looks great. We might just change the names off of the teams and make our own bracket for anything.
Anything.
Life.
Yeah, for life.
It's really cute.
We could do coworkers. We could do all of the above. Obese sayings.
Oh, there's more than 64 of those.
Maybe Nunoisms we could even put on there.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be fun. That's one of my favorite memories.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna hit a break and we will come back on the other side talking a little more superlatives, and then we will have Aaron Torres at 9:35. So make sure you don't go anywhere. This is TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers.
All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas, more than an outdoor lifestyle brand. It's products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo, the Texas Maroon and Gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors. Designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, Dad, you look pretty good today. From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family.
Welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. I'm no Swiftie like my friend Kay Naegeli, but I do love myself some old T Swift. It's really hard to not just
such a good song.
Jam to it was Should Have Said No by Taylor Swift for those of you who are on YouTube. But some old Taylor Swift is just really hard to.
I should have said no to directing the show.
Oh please.
Oh, you're funny.
Oh please.
Just kidding. Y'all are doing
Get
good.
ready to be consumed with content about her wedding over the next couple days on your Twitter page. I know you're gonna thoroughly enjoy it.
Is she getting married this weekend?
I think Taylor Swift.
Oh, Taylor Swift.
I think they're getting married in New York because they blocked off all the
I did
streets
see that. They
of
like
New
filed
York City.
the.
Yeah.
Dude,
This
talk
is all
about the worst
speculation.
person of all time doing that.
Oh
That's
my
terrible.
gosh. Here he goes.
Who,
Here he
Travis
goes.
Kelce?
City in the
This is
world.
why we
We're
don't
just going to
even-
block off traffic and make it inconvenient for everybody.
Hey, if you can do it,
Yeah.
more power to you. I can't do that.
I know. She has
I
a
can't
lot
even
of
block
power.
off streets of College Station. So
Yeah. Well, and someone didn't even give us an invite to their wedding. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, I don't know. Just our
Mr.
good
Married
friend.
Man behind the camera.
Just our good friend.
We'll stay with our good friend behind the glass, and I'm gonna ask you who you think your most under the radar player going into this season is, Nicholas.
Oh, I can I say I talked about this when I hosted yesterday. Can I say David Alano, is that under the radar picking a kicker? Just because it's no secret Aggie football struggled with field goals last season. So I feel like I'm gonna show a little love to the specialists. I'll go David Alano. I think that portal pull will pay off for Mike Elko and company. And kind of like what OB said, I just hope it gets to a point where you're looking at a 40, 30 yard or whatever it may be, and you feel confident and comfortable, like, okay, 3 points on the board, because I think we'd all agree at certain points last year that was not the case with the field goal unit.
Yeah, definitely a little anxiety came anytime it was.
Probably a lot.
It was like, okay, 40 something. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's like you talk about settling for a field goal. It's like, were they doing that?
Are we serious?
Or were they putting their best foot forward?
Yeah. I think David Alano will quickly become a fan favorite just because of how many points he can put on the board.
Sure. Nick, do you see a little bit of yourself in the specialist? Is that why you picked
What
the
is that
specialist?
supposed to mean?
Would you be a kicker at A&M if you were on the roster?
Yeah, if I could. I'd be a quarterback if I could. But no, Callie, I'm 5'1" and 100 pounds. So if you're saying I'm built similarly to a specialist, yes, that's the most similar build.
It had nothing to do with that. I was just
the mentality of
questioning.
getting it done every time, Nick. That's what
being
we
the
meant.
go-to reliable guy.
Sure, I'll take that. That's a good superlative for y'all to chew on. Who will be the most reliable player for any team this year? I guess we'll think about it for a minute. But
yeah,
if it's Marcel Reed, how good will the Aggie football team be?
If it's Marcel Reed, they'll be pretty good.
Yeah, if he's your reliable guy,
Yeah.
you can count on him every single game to come out and put on a show. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big question for the basketball team too, because Rashawn Agee was the reliable guy there. Who will it be? Will it be
Josh Irving?
You think Josh Irving? Will it be Haggerty? Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
great
good one
question
to chew on.
for sure. We're gonna go.
Sydney
over-
Lessentine for softball. Thank you very much.
There you go.
And Maya Perez.
That would be awesome.
I was going to say Maya Perez is a give me.
A given for sure. But if Sydney Lessentine is your reliable one, you
And
need
Kendall
that.
Stowers for volleyball.
Yeah,
Easy.
Kendall's my answer. If she's consistent, yeah, sign me up.
To Callie Dreyer in the social center, we have a interesting text message that is going to get us on a little bit of a topic.
Yeah, so really quick, right before I read that, I did want to shout out the Aggie women's golf team. They would be my under the radar team. They made it to the third round in the NCAAs, and they are returning a lot of key players from last year. So now someone in the text line said, here's a talking point. When did y'all develop an interest in following sports? Was it at TexAgs or prior?
It was definitely prior. I did not start at TexAgs until January of 2024. But I would say it had a lot to do with my family, specifically my dad and my little brother. I've told this story millions of times, but my sister is 16 months older than me, and my brother is 3 years younger. So I'm sandwiched in the middle of them. And I would have much rather gone to the baseball park and thrown the baseball with my dad and my brother growing up than gone to Houston to go shopping with my mom and my sister. Which now, what the stage of life that I'm in, I don't think I would pick that option. I would much rather take a shopping spree with my mother. But there were even some days where my dad and my brother weren't feeling it, and I was the only girl who was sitting there begging them to go with me. I would hit the volleyball on the roof. I would send videos of myself playing basketball to Gary Blair, and I would sit there and shoot free throws and make my dad record it and send it to Coach Blair. He would ask me every time I saw him if I was still playing basketball up to the age of 18, and I just didn't have the heart to tell him I quit after age 7. So I did tell a couple of lies to him as I got older, but he's just such an awesome man that I couldn't look him in the face and tell him no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just growing up and being in College Station and in Aggie land, as we all know, Aggie sports are very easy to fall in love with. They're also really quick to break your heart. But I think kind of both sides of that spectrum were what got me hooked. And I had no idea that my career was going to be in sports. I'm so glad and very blessed that it is. That is not where I thought my career was going, but it's where God knew my career was going. So here I am.
Yeah. I feel like we have similar but different stories a little bit. You grew up in College Station. I grew up in Katy. And Katy is in itself known to just be a very sports-heavy area. I went to Katy High School, won a lot of state titles there. So I grew up around football all of my life. And I knew from a very young age, football was kind of king in Katy. And I think that lifestyle just always stuck with me. I always loved it growing up. We would go to Katy State games when I was like 10. That's all I wanted to do is watch football on Friday nights, Katy football, and Saturday nights watch College Game Day and watch Sam Ponder and the Game Day crew on TV. And I knew from a very young age, I was like, that's what I want to do. That is what I want to grow up and pursue. Obviously, I played sports throughout junior high and high school. In high school, I had a back injury in volleyball that prevented me from continuing. And it was a little bit devastating at the time, but I ended up being a manager and kind of helping out with some of the different sports there. And I think that's where I grew an appreciation from being away from the game and just being able to view it from the sidelines per se. Yeah. And then it all kind of came full circle when I came to Texas A&M. My grandpa went here, my parents went here. I have like at least 30 members in my family that all are Aggies, and so it was always a no-brainer for me. I knew exactly this is what I wanted to pursue. Got a degree in communications and started working at this place called TexAgs. That was about, crazy to say this, 5 years ago. I've been here so long and it's become a home to me that it's crazy to watch what this has developed into, but been full circle for sure that I grew up always loving and watching football, and I get to cover that on a daily basis here at TexAgs. And then the volleyball program, that was the sport that I loved to play, and I kind of got it taken away from me. And now being able to have such a great relationship with Jamie Morrison and the staff over there, they're excellent people, and they've, welcomed media coverage with open arms, which necessarily isn't the normal thing to do now. They've been so great to us. So it's been a full circle journey for sure, but I always knew I wanted to be in this realm, be in this area, and it's just really cool to see that paying off. So
yeah, if it tells y'all anything about where I thought my career was going, I was a psychology major at Texas A&M, and I had hopes and dreams to go to grad school in Washington D.C. and take a completely different route, but here I am, and I could not be happier that I'm here with the awesome team that we have at TexAgs. So appreciate that question. It was a great story to get to tell here on TexAgs Live. We will hit a break here and come back on the other side with Aaron Torres, talk a little bit of Dusty May and what's going on with the NBA draft, and get into some college football talk. This is TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Welcome back into TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers. Your host, Kay Naegeli, Callie Garner, sitting down with you this morning as we go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline to talk to one of our favorites, Fox Sports Radio's Aaron Torres. AT, I feel like I'm always sitting in the host chair when you get to join. Thanks for having us. Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think I said it last time, so I won't make the same joke about working with a real professional, but it is nice, though. It is nice to be working with a real professional today. I don't know where Nuno is. I know his kids are getting ready to graduate, or they just graduated. So as much as I like to tease Nuno, I hope he's relaxing and enjoying and doing whatever it is that Nuno does when he's not hosting radio, but it is also great to speak with you as well.
Nuno is sitting on the beach in Florida somewhere, so yeah. I'm sure he is having a very relaxing vacation.
Quote vacation.
I don't feel like he doesn't strike me as a beach guy. Like, I feel like he's the kind of guy that would complain about too much sand, not enough shade, too much heat. Yeah. I don't know.
I see what you're talking about. I see what you mean. But I think any excuse for him to wear tight-fitting clothing may be.
There's no gym at the beach.
He'll make his own gym. Are you kidding? Oh, man. Well, AT, we want to talk to you about some of the NBA draft news that recently happened. Obviously, Dusty May being hired by the Dallas Mavs and then drafting one of his own Michigan players. Just your overall thoughts on that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I myself, as much as I like to tease Nuno, I was on vacation last week, and, it's generally June is pretty much our slowest month. And, got back and Monday morning, 9 a.m. news dump, the reverse Friday news dump, it was like, oh, it's go time. There's stuff happening. And so, listen, I think with Dusty May specifically, even dating back to the Final Four, there were rumors that he wasn't necessarily thrilled with kind of the state of college basketball and all the stuff that you hear all of these coaches talk about. Am I a little surprised that he did it 2 or 3 months after winning a national championship? Of course. I'm not surprised that he ultimately left. I mean, I think the one thing that I would say, and I'm sure I do have some Mavs fans listening, is, listen, the thing that I've learned in my old age is I'm starting to get some gray hairs come in here. I'm not as old as Nuno, thank goodness, but I'm getting up there. Is that, every job has its benefits and drawbacks. And so the one thing that I was a little disappointed about on Monday, Tuesday was just, the state of college sports pushes out another one, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I get it. The counter is being an NBA job, being an NBA head coach isn't some utopia. I mean, obviously, look, we probably don't talk a ton of NBA on this show, but we all know that the stars drive the sport. If the star likes you, you're probably safe as a head coach. If the star doesn't like you, you're probably not. And so I think just as likely as it is that Dusty May wins an NBA title with Cooper Flagg, I think it's just as likely that 2-3 years from now, he's not the coach of the Dallas Mavericks, and he's either looking at college jobs again or looking for a potential second NBA head coaching job. It's not because he's not talented. It's just because it is a very tough place to make a long-term living as a professional basketball coach. So we'll see what happens. I'm not surprised by the news, but I was a little taken aback by the whole, we all understand that college sports has their issues right now, but being an NBA head coach ain't easy either.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious, just your overall takeaways on the NBA draft. TexAgs itself wasn't super tuned in just because we didn't have any prospects that we know would go off the board at the draft, but just overall takeaways with, the Dusty May situation being involved and a lot of SEC players off the board as well.
Yeah, it was actually, I think I tweeted this at some point on Tuesday night. It was really kind of one of the most uneventful NBA drafts that I can remember because really, the first 4 were all kind of projected out exactly as planned. It was, in some order, it was going to be DeBonsa, Peterson, Cam Boozer, and also Caleb Wilson. And then from there, it was pretty understood that the next 4 guys off the board were probably going to be those 4 guards, which were Mikael Brown Jr. from Louisville, Darius Acuff from Arkansas, we had Kingston Flemings from Houston, and then Keaton Wagler from Illinois. So top 8 picks kind of went to plan. Now, to your guys' point, like, 9th pick, obviously didn't know that Dusty May was going to be the head coach 24 hours or 48 hours before the draft, and certainly they draft one of his guys. I think that narrative's a little bit overrated. I don't think that he came in on day one of the job and started jumping on tables and demanding they take one of his players. I think it's a little bit of happenstance more than anything. But it was a pretty standard draft. I think probably the biggest story, and it's something that we've seen for a year or two, and I think we've certainly seen it in the NFL draft as well, is just how quickly the talent drop-off is once you get to the second round. And it's with good reason, is the fact that basically, essentially, the players that aren't guaranteed first-round picks are coming back to college basketball. I think to take it a step further, I think there were a couple guys that were guaranteed first-round picks that still came back to college basketball. And even in the SEC, you look at the guys at Florida specifically come to mind. So it's a new world, and it was actually something Nuno and I talked about a little bit right before the last time that we spoke of. It's now a thing. Guys are making more in college than they would as pros, especially as second-round picks in the NBA draft, third, fourth, fifth-round picks in the NFL. And all it's done is made the quality of college football better, and I believe the quality of college basketball better as well.
Yeah, I know we mentioned that there wasn't a ton of attention from the A&M side because there wasn't any A&M prospects that we expected to go off the board. I know a lot of Aggies and A&M basketball fans in general were watching the draft, and we're pleased to see some of those SEC opponents that we face yearly go off the board and won't have to necessarily face them in the coming years. I'm going to flip the script here a little bit and go, the NCAA's new age-based eligibility rule gives some athletes a fifth year, and there's been some controversy around that, rightfully so. But the NCAA mentions that the rule has to start somewhere, and the players that are suing are essentially saying that they're being penalized simply because they graduated high school in 2022. When you look at both sides of this case, who do you believe has the stronger argument here?
We got you, AT?
I can hear you, Kate. Can you repeat the question? I missed that. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Just talking about the 5-and-5 impact rule with all the back and forth that's come with the age-based, what do you want to call it? The age range?
It's just that, age-based eligibility rule.
Yeah. Just your thoughts on that.
Well, I think actually it's probably going to have more impact on college basketball than college football. I mean, the big thing in college basketball that everybody's seen, and A&M is one of many programs to take advantage of it, I'm not criticizing it at all, is, bringing over 22, 23, 24-year-old European players and basically, he wants to get a college education. It's like, does he want to get a college education or is he going to play basketball and he's better than bringing in an 18-year-old from wherever? So, listen, I think it makes sense. My only hesitation is that basically, as we see time and time and time again, there are always unintended consequences to all of these rules. But I think especially for basketball, it's a net positive. You guys mentioned a few times the SEC and kind of how some other, programs operate. And as an example, like Will Wade at LSU appears ready to push every boundary allowable, per NCAA rules. And right now, per the rules, he can bring over 22, 23, 24-year-old Europeans. And I do think, as much as I love all of these sports and as much as I want to see the competition be as good as it is, I also would argue that, at some point, it is still college athletics. And at some point, if you're bringing in 24, 25, 26-year-olds, it is taking away from college-age students. So I like it. It's a net positive. I haven't yet figured out what the unintended consequences are, but there are always some, and I'll just be curious to see what they ultimately end up being.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the college sports are just going to continue to get older and older. It seems like we're like, oh, grandma and grandpa are playing and they're 22, 23 years old, and it's just like, okay, this is going to become a common thing now without all the red shirt and things like that. But I want to flip the script a little bit, go some college football talk. I know you and David have touched on things here and there, but as we ramp up towards July and towards SEC Media Days, just what are your honest expectations for Mike Elko at Texas A&M in year 3?
Well, I think fascinating program, obviously coming off the college football playoff appearance. You lose a bunch of talent to the NFL. The thing that I think Elko has done better than a lot of people, period, but I think better than he's been getting credit for is finding guys that fit what he wants to do in the portal. I don't have the rankings in front of me, but I don't think Cassius Howell was like the consensus, best defensive player in the portal a few years ago. And like, he ended up being, essentially an All-American and an early NFL draft pick. And so I only bring it up because I think he's done a great job evaluating. I think he's done a great job of building things out. And the big question now is, can you continue to build momentum off of last year's college football playoff appearance? But, it's funny. I've seen a lot of, obviously like way too early, power rankings in the SEC. And like, I know Josh Pate put out his coaches list and whatever. And I respect Josh, so this isn't a criticism, but it's like, it just feels like the Aggies are always underappreciated. Like, I think Elko was like 5th or 6th on the coaches list. And if I'm wrong, I apologize to Josh Pate. Like I said, I like him. It's just off the top of my head because I know it came out a few days ago. But I just think it's still, let me put it this way. There's so many great storylines and interesting storylines in the SEC that the guy that shows up every day and is just consistent as heck and does it day in and day out, I just don't think gets enough credit in a world where you look at last year and LSU was kind of a train wreck and Florida was a train wreck and, Ole Miss was very interesting to say the least, even though they won. And so I just don't think, like I said, Elko, it's the cliche, like speak softly and carry a big stick. Like that seems to be Mike Elko's stance. He's not out doing a lot of media. He's not doing many interviews with Vanity Fair like some other SEC head football coaches. And it just seems like he's really locked in on getting his better every single day. So I think much like this time last year, and frankly, much like even year one, Aggie's probably being overlooked a little bit heading into the fall of 2026.
Yeah, he's even said it himself. He doesn't want his program to be talked about the offseason. That's usually a good thing.
Absolutely.
But AT, we got to drop it there. We appreciate you joining us today.
No problem. I am going to look out for the Mike Elko Vanity Fair interview. I'd be very curious to see how that would play out, how they would dress him and all that stuff and what he would say. But until then, I appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks. Nuno will be back with you next week. Awesome. All right. So we are going to hit a break. On the other side, we're going to do a little bit of TexAgs today because it is never a bad time to be a TexAgs subscriber. Callie Dreyer will catch us up on all of that. This is TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers.
I mean, I can't really think of a better song to bring us back into this last segment of the 9 o'clock hour. I mentioned Gary Blair earlier. This song has total memories attached to the 2011 national championship on the women's basketball team. This is the song they played in the arena when the women's basketball team won the national championship, defeated Notre Dame. I was at home with my family. My dad was at the game. My mom woke us up the next morning with this song blaring around our house. She was so thrilled. She loved Gary Blair, loved that team. My Nana was a massive Aggie basketball fan as well. And so this song just has such great memories attached to it. So that's such a great one and will forever be a Garner family favorite. We'll take it over to the social center one more time for the 9 o'clock hour. Callie Dreyer, what is on TexAgs today?
Yeah, so as Kay said earlier, it's never a bad time to become a premium subscriber. You can get so much information. And if you go back to yesterday, you'll find TexAg's newest show, The Set, hosted by our very own Kay Naegeli, which it did drop yesterday. And then also a new episode of Past the Sticks with Angelo McCollum and Marco Jones. They played each other in 2K. And then some recruiting notes from Bronny and Jason Howe, as there are some commits who are set to announce tomorrow. And then today we have a ton of NIL interviews. Texas A&M corner Julio Humphrey, Aggie women's tennis transfer Olivia Linser, and Texas A&M defensive end TJ Searcy. So be sure to check those out. And don't forget about the softball and baseball portal threads.
Thank you so much. And I'll reiterate it. It is never a bad time to become a TexAgs premium subscriber. So make sure you check that out if you're not already. I think we've got potentially the best hour of the week coming up on TexAgs Live. Alyssa Lang in the fan show. I'm not sure what more you could want. It may rival tomorrow's 9 o'clock hour.
Tomorrow's maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But we're super excited to get to chat with Alyssa, talk about College World Series, just what she's been up to, and some football things for the upcoming season. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. This is TexAgs Live presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Welcome back into TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers. Kicking off the 10 o'clock hour with one of me and Callie's favorite ESPN and SEC media personalities, none other than Alyssa Lang, joining us this morning. Alyssa, how are you doing?
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for having me. It's great to see you both. Certainly in the off season, it's great to see all smiling faces. So thank you for having me on this morning.
Of course. Yeah. So in the depths of summer, we're always looking for different football topics to talk about. And we were like, well, there's none other than Alyssa Lang. So we just want to catch up. So tell us about what's going on in life. I know you were hosting the Men's College World Series shows, the Women's College World Series shows. Just catch us up.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy spring, but busy is blessed in this industry, as you both know. We love to have another assignment to be preparing for. And it's funny, I'm kind of transitioning back into football brain. There's always football stuff to talk about year round, right? But when you're going from the Women's World Series to the Men's World Series, it's like you have no idea what's happening outside of that bubble. Like, there's so many times where I call my husband at the end of the day, I'm like, what did I miss in just the world? Like, what news and current events do I need to be aware of, because I've been living in this baseball bubble. So this week I've actually been diving into some of our football headlines for media days coming up in 4 weeks from now at the end of July. Yeah. So I'm taking some time off here at the end of the school year, as I like to call it, because we go by calendar year of college sports. But I am fully diving into media days coverage and prep so that, I can actually take a couple days on the beach in the next couple of weeks without thinking about it. But the prep never stops, which is fun this time of year. I would say the best part about being in the summertime and getting ready for a new season is everybody's happy, right? Like, there's so much hope, and everybody still feels like, oh, this is our year to go win a championship. And like that, I love living in that space where everybody's so excited for the season.
Yeah, it is so awesome to be in that space. And I feel like of all fan bases, the Aggies are really good at doing that. I feel like we find ourselves in that spot every single offseason. And we've yet to kind of reach that feeling, but maybe this year, as we like to say. Staying on the College World Series front a little bit, I know OU was probably the most unassuming team in that field outside of, Troy and West Virginia, maybe to go all the way and to beat North Carolina. What did you see from them and just your week up there with the Sooners and how they kind of ran the table up there?
Yeah, it's so fascinating because I've said this a lot, and I do believe it. I think winning a college baseball national championship is the hardest title in sports. Like, there may be some other arguments for other titles, but when you just think about what goes into it, from the length of the season to as soon as the postseason starts, especially for those of us in the SEC, Hoover is a gauntlet in and of itself. And then if you are lucky enough to make the field and get out of the first weekend and then get out of the second weekend, oh, welcome to Omaha. Like, it only just got a lot harder from here. So, we went into Omaha saying that Oklahoma might have been the hottest team in the field. They had lost their last 4 SEC series coming in. They lost their first game at the SEC tournament in Hoover. And you're thinking, this is not a team that's supposed to make some noise here. So we're kind of like, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's better to be hot than good when it comes to sports, right? Like, sometimes the bats that are swinging the hottest are the ones that are going to survive at the end of the week. But you always expect that heat to run out or that magic to come to an end. And it just never did as the games kept going by in Omaha. So you're going, okay, maybe they're hot and good, and they're just figuring out the fact that they're good right now in the postseason. But I think the thing that will stick out and what we will talk about with this Oklahoma team as we move forward and start to project to next year and, of course, look back on title teams, the fact that they threw so many freshmen in this College World Series was unbelievable. I mean, I believe the final stat line was that they started a freshman in every single game of the World Series, if not the majority of them. And that is an unbelievable feat to not only have an 18 or 19-year-old who's able to go out there on that type of stage and perform in that way, but give Oklahoma the type of length that they did And then for the offense to come along the way that it did, from regionals to supers to then Omaha, was just unbelievable. And it really is a reminder of this perfect formula and this mix of things I think that you have to win that championship in particular. What Skip Johnson has done in Norman has been unbelievable, to assemble that group that clearly was able to reach the top of the sport in ways that I would say a lot more talented teams on paper never were able to, right? But that's the beauty of the sport, is it doesn't matter what's on paper. It matters what's happening on the field. Everybody probably would have told you, oh, North Carolina's going to beat this Oklahoma team. Look at all the arms that they've had all season long. But that Sooner magic just didn't run out. And I know it's painful for Aggie fans who've been wanting to get back there and get to that champ series. But it was just an unbelievable run to watch for sure.
You talked about needing that perfect formula, and that may be exactly what Mike Elko and Texas A&M will need this football season coming in 2026. Year 3 entering the Mike Elko era. You said you've been talking about or prepping for SEC Media Days. Your thoughts on what Texas A&M could accomplish this season?
Yeah, I will say I'm not often right. Like, I make a lot of predictions on a daily basis, especially in football season. And like, it's fun to make predictions, right? But when I am right, I'm going to beat that drum and remind everybody. I was at Media Days last year, and I remember going through the Aggie schedule and being like, this is a 10-11 win team. This is a playoff team. Like, if they could get through Notre Dame, then not smooth sailing, but I feel really good about how the rest of their year would go. And obviously, you make a run to the college football playoff in year 2 under Mike Elko, and that's like a position that a lot of fan bases would trade easily to be in, right? So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pieces that Texas A&M has to replace, and undoubtedly, there will be names that we don't talk about at SEC Media Days that we will be talking a lot about in mid-October, right? There always is a guy that steps up and ends up becoming that household name for a team that's going to find success. But I put a lot of stock into experience, and that was something that I was excited about last year with just a year of Coach Elko under his belt, the players understanding expectations, Marcel Reed having had some experience and being able to go through last year as the starter for real this time. Now that he's had another year of experience on his resume, I'm even more excited for what he could look like this year. I mean, you're talking about a guy who was trying to make a push for a Heisman contention towards the end of the season. So, what type of pieces have been reloaded around Marcel? I'm never typically concerned about a Mike Elko defense, especially in College Station, right? So I kind of give Coach a benefit of the doubt there, but A&M is one of those teams that I do feel like under Elko, it has been stock up year after year. And if we're going stock up from last year, a playoff spot, that's a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned A&M having to replace a lot of pieces on their offense specifically, but overall the team. One position that you don't have to replace that is so key is your quarterback. And just having that consistency, and someone who started all your games last year returning for you in your season is going to be huge for the Aggies. And there are a few returning quarterbacks across the SEC. When you look at the ones that are coming back, where does Marcel kind of rank amongst those, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's such an interesting question, because you look at the sort of duality of the quarterbacks that are coming back, and it's sort of just this like peaks and valleys of expectations. And I don't know, like, you look at the landscape and you go, there's so much talent here, but the talent that's coming back hasn't necessarily achieved in the way that we expected it to at this point. So like my alma mater, for example, South Carolina and Lenora Sellers, you're expecting a huge season last year from Lenoris, and it just never really came to fruition. But you're looking at this guy and you're going, he has all the measurables. When he's on, you see an unbelievable athlete. Now, to be fair to him, there have been issues with pieces around him, protection, a running back room to be able to take some of the pressure off of him. So, like, Lenoris is one of those examples of a returning quarterback that you're going, okay, I'm cautiously optimistic based on last season. I look at somebody like Arch Manning, who I had his very last game of the season, their bowl game last year in the Citrus Bowl, and he looked incredible against Michigan. And you're sitting there going, okay, if this is the beginning of the arch that we're going to get in 2026, this might actually be the year that everybody needs to look out for Texas. And I know there's fans probably turning the show off right now because I've just said that, and I'm so sorry. But like that, Arch looked really good in December, January, whatever it was. Then you look at a guy like Marcel, and like I said a few minutes ago, I mean, experience means so much. Out of those 3 quarterbacks who are sort of, the headliners of the class, Gunnar Stockton is in there as well. Marcel is one of the few who has playoff experience. And yes, the playoff game didn't go the way Aggie fans wanted it to go last season, but experience is experience, right? And that taste in the mouth of, okay, we made it, and then we got knocked out right away. Like, we don't want to feel that again. You can't put a price on that feeling, especially at this level. And when it gets so hard to strap up and go out there and hit people at that point in the season, you can't put a price on that feeling of, we were so close to being able to make a run and we fell short. So Marcel has that, as well as the tools that have been developed over the last 3 seasons at Texas A&M, and we saw those tools on display last year. I mean, you talk about one of the most dangerous dual threat athletes in college football, Marcel Reed has to be on that list for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of off-season storylines, and we obviously have a lot of coaches in this league that per se like to create storylines throughout the offseason and keep us busy, but I don't right? I know, it's crazy that we have that. I will say Texas A&M's Mike Elko is not necessarily one to do that. He is very business-like. He's going to take care of the football side of things before he ever creates any drama. So just curious on your perspective of that. Like, he is just such a no-nonsense guy and only wants to be about football.
Yeah, it's funny because you meet a lot of coaches, assistants, head coaches, athletes turned coaches. You meet a lot of people in this business, and you start to get an idea for like, okay, who might be selling you a little bit of smoke in your Friday production meeting, right? Who might be trying to throw you off the wrong path, on a certain player. The moment you meet Coach Elko, you can tell that what you see is what you get. And as a broadcaster, I can't tell you how valuable that is for us to know that, like, I can trust every word that's coming out of your mouth. And when you tell me something that's like, hey, and this happens, across the business, hey, maybe this is just for context rather than a report. It's like, okay, actually, like, that's actually really helpful for me to understand and then help educate our viewer. When Coach Elko tells us something, like, we know that there's no fluff around it, right? We know that he's not sugarcoating anything. We know that he's not, trying to send us on the wrong path. And I so appreciate that, because it's like, oh yeah, we're just humans talking ball, right? And I get it. It's a very tough business, and these guys have to really mind what they say at all times, because to your point, stories can be manufactured out of anything. But when you talk to him, it's like, yeah, he's just a real dude. And I enjoy that because I feel like I can learn so much from him then. Okay, let's get through all the things that we need to know about your game tomorrow, but then I want to pick your football mind and I want to talk ball with you. And every time I have a conversation with him, I learn something, whether it's about the art of coaching, the way he's going about business at Texas A&M, things that he's learned as a head coach, or even just the X's and O's of the game itself. And I think that thought is pretty widespread, certainly among my colleagues. We always enjoy going to talk with him. And I can't tell you how many times we walk out of those meeting rooms on Friday when we're getting ready for an A&M game, and we all look at each other and we go, man, we love that guy. Like, we love working with that guy. And then the same kind of goes for game day as well, right? When I'm doing interviews with him on the sidelines, or I'm watching him go through a game day, which is very emotional in the best ways, right? If you've ever watched Coach Elko get fired up down there, you know what I'm talking about. You know, once again, that what he is feeling and what he is thinking is what you are going to get. And I think that that's all that fans want at the end of the day, especially in today's day and age, is just some transparency with like, hey, if it's a frustrating game and we're sitting at home frustrated, I want my head coach to be frustrated too. And you're going to get that from Mike Elko. And I think that's another reason why Aggie fans have really come to love him so much. Winning helps, but just the dude that you're getting under the headset is a football dude who wants nothing more than to win. And that's how you win Aggie fans over, I think.
Totally. Yeah. Something we mentioned earlier is, I think a game that's flying a little bit under the radar is Texas A&M traveling back to Death Valley this year in kind of a rare form. They were there last year, SEC moving to the 9-game schedule. They're going back to LSU this year, and they're playing the Tigers the week after Lane Kiffin travels back to Oxford for the first time as an opposing head coach in their stadium. What are some kind of things you're following there, and what do you think that, I guess, LSU will look like this year under Lane Kiffin, and then could the Aggies potentially walk back into Death Valley and beat them 2 years in a row?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, what LSU will look like. I think we're all sort of waiting with bated breath for that first big game for LSU to really see what the answer to that question is. It has become such a circus, as everybody in the SEC knows, right? And I think in a way, a lot of people have lost the plot, and I'm not blaming anybody because of all of the circus and storylines where it's like, okay, at the end of the day, if LSU doesn't look really good halfway through the season, things are going to be on fire in Baton Rouge, right? Like, we went out and we did all of this to not only make it to a college football playoff, but to go win one. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think it's realistic to say that a year one head coach anywhere should be going to win a national title. But gosh, you better be in the field if you're LSU and Lane Kiffin at this point, right? So, you know, I think that pressure and expectation means something. You know, you look at the big game for Lane Kiffin in his career, and it hasn't necessarily gone the way that you would think it's gone, given his resume and given his coaching prowess. But A&M catches LSU in a very interesting spot, to your point. Just coming off of that game in Oxford, which might be the most emotional game in the history of college football, for obviously so many reasons, and we all know that, right? We always talk about hangovers, whether it's winning, losing, or just the emotions of that weekend. A&M, I would think, would be licking their chops to be able to go back to Death Valley in that specific situation. Now, again, does Lane Kiffin have this team playing with the understanding of your LSU and you got to be able to move on no matter what happens? We will see. I don't know what the identity of LSU under Lane Kiffin quite looks like, but I do know that Mike Elko is going to be sitting there going, yeah, maybe not explicitly saying this to the team, but they just went through all of this hoopla. Like, now's our time to pounce, right? And if you don't have that mentality in the SEC, it's probably not going to get you very far. But I don't think it is out of the realm of possibility that the Aggies could go 2 years in a row. One, just because they're a good football team, but two, because of everything that you said that comes surrounding that game.
Yeah, another important game on the schedule is against your very own Gamecocks and Shane Beamer's squad. It took the best second half ever last year to be able to take them down at Kyle Field. I know you still have nightmares about that one, I'm sure. But just talk to us about that game being on the schedule again in Columbia this year.
Yeah, it's funny because I was at the game 2 years ago, the one in Columbia where it was like a South Carolina beatdown, honestly, in the second half. And then last year happened, and like, quick story, I'm usually on the sidelines of another game while all the other games are being played, right? So at this point, I'll be fully transparent. Like, I had no expectations for my alma mater going to College Station. I was like, we're going to get killed. Like, it's not, they're so good. Like, we're kind of flailing at this point. And occasionally, if South Carolina is playing well, or if it's a big game or something, the guys in the booth will keep me updated on the score. So I believe I was doing Arkansas LSU that day. I'm pretty sure that was the game that I was at. And all of a sudden, like, they get in my ear and they tell me the score at halftime. And I was like, stop lying to me. Why are you lying? That's so mean. And they're like, no, we're so serious. And I kind of made a joke, and like Shane Beamer and everybody forgive me. Like I made a joke. I was like, we'll figure out a way to like make this, like we'll figure out a way to, make this an interesting second half. Interesting was definitely the word. I've never seen anything like it. But yeah, it's fun that sort of developed into a little bit of a rivalry, it feels like, between Texas A&M and South Carolina. I love that the game is back in Columbia just because 2 years ago, with it being under the lights, it was a great environment. I talked to some Aggie fans who were like, hey, like we didn't know like what it was like in Columbia. And I know South Carolina fans say the same thing when they go to College Station and experience just like looking up, and it just goes up and up and up there at Kyle Field. But I think that'll be a very fun game to have back, certainly with how it went last year, because I'm not sure that there's ever been a more lopsided victory. And like that has to go down in the history books as far as the A&M comeback in that one. So speaking of bad taste in the mouth that we talked about a couple of minutes ago, I would anticipate that South Carolina has a bit of a bad taste in their mouth from how that game went last year, just in general, and I'll leave it at that. But A&M has to probably know that walking into that game against South Carolina and knowing that they got manhandled in the first half of that game. They don't want that to happen again.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're looking forward to that one. That comes in a tough road stretch as well, so it's going to be really important for A&M to have some success there. But Alyssa, we thank you so much for joining us, and we will be at SEC Media Days soon in Tampa, and we can't wait to see you.
Can't wait to see you, ladies. Thank you so much for having me today.
Of course. That is Alyssa Lang, host of SEC Network and all things ESPN. She does it all. She's been great to us and a great role model to also look up to.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, well, we will hit a break. On the other side, the Fan Show will be joining us. This is TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers.
Some Joe Bros bringing us back for the fan show. We've got the Bros on the end down here.
Yeah, we did the kindergarten style. Girls on one side of the classroom, boys on the other.
Of course, we've got the hard line that
It's
separates.
weird you being this close to me.
I know, it's strange. We're like right on top of each
Normally
other.
we have to yell at each other.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I mean, you're like halfway to the social center for me, basically.
I know, yeah. We're on the opposite side of the desk. I do that so he doesn't attack me during the show.
Yeah.
So.
Smart.
You got to watch what you say.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all for joining us this morning. We appreciate having you and your time. We'll go to Callie Dreyer in the social center.
I'm going to go, Roy, what's on your mind?
Whoa.
There you go.
There you go. You get to go first today. I like it.
Cool. What's on my mind? A little bit of the same last week. It's still World Cup, right? So I'm still just completely, in that kind of sphere right now. But what's on my mind is this is just that really goofy part of the year, right? Everything's wrapped up with college. We haven't gotten to media days. And y'all were talking about a little bit earlier, this is the time where we are all undefeated, right? And national championship, like, maybe we could, maybe, you could talk yourself into it this time of year.
Hope, yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's just keeping track of recruiting for football is a big one. Obviously, some big names still left on the board with announcements coming up soon. And this is kind of the year. I used to be really big into recruiting, and what's funny is as the coverage has gotten better over the years, I feel like I'm not as into recruiting because I don't have to be. Like, I don't have to do as much research because Bronny and Hal do it for me. But this is kind of the time of the year, though, where I get back into recruiting. And so just kind of excited to see that. And then also, the transfers with transfers coming in really across the board at all sports. I picked up a big one in softball from Arkansas. So just, it's just that excitement part of the year, where you can talk yourself into anything for next year.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We almost made it through an entire show without the World Cup being brought up, but thank you to Roy. I'm not a soccer girl whatsoever. We did a TexAgs snake draft, and I have 3 teams that I probably couldn't even tell you what my 3 teams are. I have not been keeping up. I know Morocco is like my leader, and they just beat, I think, Haiti 2 days ago? Yeah. Yesterday, maybe?
I don't know.
And
Couldn't tell you.
So that's who I'm rooting for outside of the United States. If the United States continues to play, I will absolutely watch their games and root for them, but just not really.
Well, to me, it's a little bit like the Olympics in the sense that you don't have to care about the sport to be able to root for America, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like it's full-blown patriotism. It's the 250th birthday of America. Like it's all kind of perfect, and then you add on the fact that all the foreigners that have come in to watch their teams and their nation's teams have just done nothing but run this amazing positive PR commercial for America.
True.
Right?
Sure.
They're like, wow, everything we heard was a lie. This place is great.
Yeah.
I saw a funny meme the other day. And it was like a European talking to an American. He was like, everything's been amazing. Your people are so nice. The food's so great. Everything else. And he's talking to the American. The American goes, where's this thing being played? He said, do we have a team in it? Like, that's the American's response to him, I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, I do like watching all of them. Like you see some guy from Japan eating Texas barbecue for the first time. They just lose their minds, and them going to Buc-ee's and they don't know what to think about it.
My favorite is when they're like, I was walking down the street and somebody said hello, and I was like, what the hell are you doing, man? Why are you talking?
Why are you talking to me? They keep telling. They have to tell, like the TSA's telling the Europeans to stop taking ranch back. They're all loading ranch into their
they discovered ranch. And they are trying to take it back.
And then, but from recruiting, recruiting's what's been on my mind. Sorry, that's because he's right. This is that time of year. There's not a lot going on. So, and I'm with Roy. After that 2022 class and all the hype, and it was so amazing, and watching the minion drop the mic all the time online and all that sort of stuff. We got so fired up about this number 1 class, the greatest class ever, and then of course we know what happened. It kind of fizzled, and over the next 4 years, it wasn't. There was some. It wasn't what we hoped it to be, right? Yeah. But now, I mean. And so I kind of got away from recruiting too, but man, with the momentum they've got to have another number 1 class, and it has a different feel. I don't know what it is. It's like we're not just going after stars, right? We're not just going after 5-star after 5-star after. I mean, we're going after guys. Like we'll get a commitment from some guy that like, and you just feel like, okay, they've done the research on this guy. This kid's going to be they didn't care about his star count. They didn't care if he was a 5-star or 4-star or, anything. They care about his skill set and how that's going to benefit the team. And so, that's the hope I have, right? Again, if you'd asked me in 2022, I'd be like, oh, all these guys are going to be amazing. They're all going to be, college football Hall of Famers. But yeah, of course, that's the time of year. It's hope style. So, but I've actually got a story. So I was really sad Nuno's not here to hear this. Now, I'm glad y'all are here. Y'all are doing a great job. There's a lot of blonde in here, by the way. But I was in Lajitas this last Thursday. I wasn't here. I was in Lajitas, Texas. Do y'all know where that is?
Can't say I've heard of
That
it.
is south of Alpine. That is in the absolute elbow of Texas. It's in Big Bend, right? Okay. So we're way out there. This is a big golf resort they have out there. It was a lot of fun. Flew out there with some buddies. And we get done playing golf, and I'm sitting in this bar, which I know, weird. I was in a bar, but it's really all they had there to eat. And this guy walks by me, and he looks at my hat, and he goes, Browning Roofing? And I said, yeah. He said, Matt Browning Roofing? I said, yeah. He goes, man, I listen to that guy on the fan show every week. And I go, huh? And he goes, wait, are you him? And I was like, yeah, I am him. And he said, he goes, you and Roy and the fan, he goes, that might be my favorite show on TexAgs. And I go, thanks, man. I really wish David Nuno were here to hear you say that. So,
right?
I just thought that was pretty funny. So now Lajitas, I got recognized in Chicago for it, in Baton Rouge, in Florida. Yeah. Every
You've
time
been
I go on a
recognized
road
more
trip.
than I have.
Well, yeah. I have one of those very punchable, approachable faces.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know.
The faces of the fan show over here.
Yeah.
Going back real quick to something you said about it feels different. I think this is where what Alyssa Lang touched on. Just talking about her interviews, when they do, the Friday stuff, they do, on game day when they're interviewing Mike Elko. It's just, he's different, right? What you see is what you get. And I think, that whole kind of mentality of the program has taken over and that's where, it does feel different because we understand and what we believe, that, they are doing the proper evaluations. They are bringing in the right guys that fit the system in the right place. So I think, to me, that's why it probably feels different.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's mainly too, like, that 2022 class, we always talk about all the fancy names and things like that and all the glam that came with it. But this staff, you really can't compare the two, first of all, because they're different staffs, has done such a great job evaluating talent. They're not just taking guys because they see stars by their name. They're taking guys because they've vetted them, because they want them in their program, and they think outside of the football field they're going to bring quality.
It does. It feels different. So, it's like I said, when you see a 3-star guy, right? That's you're like, oh, it's like we're almost like bummed, like, oh, yeah. He's only a 3-star, but trust me, those people across the street know way more about football than we do. And hey, by the way, Von Miller was a 3-star.
Torian York led the team in tackles last year.
Yeah.
He was a 3-star.
Johnny Manziel was a 3-star. Mike Evans was a 2-star, I think. So there are diamonds in the rough, and if they know their skill sets and what they can bring to what we want to do from a offense and defensive standpoint, then I'm all for it. So
yeah. Absolutely. Well, we'll hit a break here and come back with some Aggie superlatives and more football talk on the Fan Show. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers.
What's up, everybody? I'm here to tell you about Fratella Italian Cafe. If anyone knows anything about Italian food, it's me, Billy Lucci. And Fratella has the best Italian food in BCS. Located at 3901 South Texas Avenue, Fratella is known for their handmade pasta dishes and feature lasagna, beef cannelloni, chicken parmesan, chicken fettuccine alfredo, a couple of my favorites, just a big old bowl of plain old spaghetti and some manicotti. Really recommend the manicotti. That's my go-to. And don't walk out of there without trying the fresh, piping hot breadsticks and the homemade in-house cheesecake, which is incredible. It's great for dining in, catering, gift cards, and even shipping, which they do nationwide. Fratella's is Aggie-owned and operated, and it's an official restaurant partner of Texas A&M Athletics. I'll see you there.
Welcome back in to TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers. We have the fan show with us.
Best hour of radio all week long.
Which is why
I heard y'all say that earlier.
Some are saying that.
Some are
I heard you say that earlier, and then y'all go, "This is best hour." It's our favorite. And then you said, all you did was talk about Alyssa Lang and nothing else.
Oh man, I will say tomorrow the show that we were putting together could be an all-timer.
Good.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna sneak preview that a little bit,
Right,
so
I can't wait to
everyone
listen.
Can tune in tomorrow.
This hour of radio is so good they cut it down to 40 minutes.
Yeah, they sure did. That's true.
We had guests to fill. We were like, how can we make all these things work? But
Hey, we didn't want to cut you though.
yeah, we wanted to make.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
We still wanted you to have your radio time.
Yeah, so
with us.
David would come in here and be like, we can cut it down to one segment.
Just get rid of these guys. Yeah, we need to. So.
We try to keep y'all around. We do want to do some superlatives, but I also want to ask y'all like our initial topic for the day that was just who will lead the team in blank. So we have statistical categories. Just want y'all to Off the top of your head, who do you think will lead the team in pretty obvious passing yards?
Well, it better be Marcel Reed, or it's going to be a long season.
Yeah. Reed.
Yeah.
It better be, I'm with,
Reed.
Roy nailed it.
Receiving yards.
All right. See, this is where I was, so when you were asking superlatives, like who would be the biggest surprise or whatever, I think it's going to be Ashton Bethel Roman. I've said this. I think he's that good. Like, he was fantastic last year, and I feel like Craver and
Horton.
Yeah, Horton are going to get a lot more attention, and he's going to get more. I think he's the fastest guy on the team, and he's really, really, really been stellar. So I think that receiving yards is going to be Ashton Bethel Roman.
Yeah, I was going to say ABR, but just to be different, I'll say Craver. If we have Craver fully healthy for like a full season, I think, again, because if ABR is that good and Horton deserves attention too, Craver's going to get his opportunities. And we've seen what he can do when he's healthy. He's a freak.
Yeah.
So I'll go Craver.
Touchdowns.
Marcel Reed.
Receiving, or running or receiving touchdowns.
Okay. Running, Le'Veon Moss.
No, he's
not on the team.
Or, no, excuse me, not Le'Veon Moss. Ruben Owens.
I'm gonna say Morrow. Morrow for both.
Yeah, I'll go Ruben Owens for both.
Or for
receiving touchdowns?
Oh no, rushing. I'm sorry, rushing touchdowns. Rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'll go Ruben Owens.
I like your Morrow answer. That was mine.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, receiving, I could
minds think
see
alike.
ABR just because of his size, being able to take advantage of it down in the red zone.
Yeah, and Horton too, though. He's big.
That's true.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna say ABR since I'm gonna stick with my theme that I think he's gonna have the most receiving yards, so most touches. And
there you
go.
So, sacks.
Oh, it's a tough one because we rotate so much up front.
That one's hard. And this entire D line, we know so little about it. The transfer.
Antosaka. Antosaka was our answer.
It's got to be. That's the right now answer. But I'm betting there's somebody. I'm betting there's somebody on that depth chart that we don't, because it seems like every year somebody just explodes out of nowhere. Yeah. So, but I think Saka is going to be our.
Due to unknowns. That's just kind of
the
default, I think.
For sure. We had Saka and Marco Jones were our main.
Saka looks like he looks older than I am. So
he does. He's a big dude.
He just looks old. He looks like he should be, like an accountant somewhere. But no, he's still playing college football. So
he is. He's a big dude. He looks like he's lived a lot of life.
Oh,
for sure.
Yeah, for a guy that's like 20 years old.
Something got him.
Oh man. And last but not least, interceptions.
Anybody, please just get one.
I'm with you.
The
on
weirdest thing in the world is to go through an entire football season and not force a pick.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like it's an intentional thing.
Yeah.
You should just accidentally get a pick.
Yeah.
A lot of PBUs by Des Ricks. Ricky Gibson had 5 the season he was healthy at Tennessee. I know Callie is pretty high on Dalton Brooks at safety. Marcus Ratcliffe also returns.
Yeah, I'll go Dalton Brooks over top.
That's what I
think
was gonna
safeties
say.
have a little bit easier time being able to poach than corners.
Yeah, I was going to say Dalton Brooks, but it seems like for some reason our defense's corners rarely get picks. It's always the safety somewhere. There he is right there. So I'm going to say Dalton Brooks as well. I agree. He's just because safeties and that he's kind of a ball hawk. The guy seems like he's everywhere. So I'm a big fan of his. I really like him.
Yeah.
So
sure. We'll do one superlative on this side before we hit a break. So I'll get y'all's. This is just overarching. Doesn't have to be football. Who do you think will have the biggest impact on their respective team this season?
Nolan King.
I thought about that earlier.
Good answer.
I like that answer.
Yeah.
That is a good answer.
Either him or the pitching coach. And right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think one of those two is going to have the biggest impact overall relative to the team's success in postseason.
Yeah.
I hope it's the Clemson catcher.
Savoy.
Nate Savoy.
Thank you. See, it's off season. I don't have all these names in my head right now.
That's
right?
what we're here for.
They're all new, okay? But yeah, that's a huge spot. With the pitching woes that we've had and all the new pitchers coming in, he's going to have one of the toughest jobs.
For sure.
So we need him to be good, and so I'm hoping that I'm hoping that he is good. So
that was Callie's newcomer that she was looking out for.
you know what? Great minds.
Yeah,
think
we're
alike.
on the same wavelength today.
Brilliant.
I love it.
There's a lot of brilliance here.
Yeah.
One of y'all knew the name, though.
She works here. Hey, come season time, I'm going to know exactly who that
Be
guy is.
locked in.
Yeah. I know who all these people are. Crazy.
Oh, man. Well, we have one more segment on the other side that we will hit. Talk some more superlatives with the fan show. This is TexAgs Live, presented by David Garner's Jewelers.
I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar, I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going, you use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst.
Welcome back to the last segment of TexAgs Live. We're finishing off the fan show for the day. We're going to continue with some superlatives. We'll just go with an easy one, kind of a layup. What game are you most excited for this year? It could be any sport.
Ooh, it's got to be football. I mean, for an excitement standpoint, it's typically football, especially since that's the next one coming. It's a long way till basketball and baseball season. So, honestly,
I like how we're just ruling out volleyball.
Right? Yeah. Jimmy
just-
Morrison and company host Wisconsin this season.
Yeah, the whiskey games.
Volleyball.
Yeah, the whiskey game's a big one.
Yeah.
I am excited to see that team, especially with all the newcomers. I mean, I know they had a phenomenal transfer portal, and seeing all the newcomers come in, and as good as that guy has been, I am excited to watch them. I really am. I had a lot of fun watching them. But mine's got to be. I know that we want to say Texas. I hate that game. I still hate that game. But I'm actually really looking forward to LSU. At LSU again, after what we did to them last year with Lane Kiffin coming in. And, I mean, they're already ranked higher. I mean, we absolutely put a beat down on them last year, and they're already ranked higher than us after So, a lot of the mock rankings. But LSU at Baton Rouge, the fact is that, I mean, I was there, and I'm telling you, it was absolutely silent when we were on offense. I'm sitting at the very tip top of Tiger Stadium, and I could hear Marcel's clap. That's how quiet we made them at the end of that game. And then when they were on offense, all you could hear was, we were loud.
Yeah.
So that was my only
Pretty
experience.
energetic.
Yeah.
Well, is that what it sounds like down the field?
It's still morning here. So to see that game and to watch it and see, I've said this, I don't feel like I got the true Tiger Stadium experience since there was nothing electric about that place. It wasn't that loud. It was awesome for us. It was an absolutely amazing game, and we had a blast because we got to shut them down. But I didn't get to see Tiger Stadium and the earthquakes or whatever that they apparently create. So
if I never go back to Baton Rouge, it'll still be too soon. People are atrocious. Honestly, the one I'm looking forward to is really the first test of the year is Arizona State, right? I'm looking forward to seeing. I think y'all touched on this a little bit earlier today. Is you really do get your warm up game, and was it Missouri State? Yeah, Missouri State. But then Arizona State, like that's really kind of your first, hey, we're playing an actual opponent, power four opponent kind of thing. So, let's strap it up and let's get after it. For me, it's just Arizona State. Everybody's going to be excited for Missouri State just because it's the first game of the year. But for me, for football, it'll be Arizona State. For volleyball, it's absolutely Wisconsin.
And I think my favorite, my top home game is Tennessee. I think that's going to be fun. I mean, obviously Texas is a big one, but outside of Texas and in the rivalry aspect and having all those idiots come to town, I do look forward to the Tennessee game. That one's going to be fun.
I think Matt just secretly watched the entire show today and has just word for word taken my answers because
did not.
Mine was LSU as well.
Was it really?
It really was.
I'm telling you, great minds think alike.
Well, my first answer was the easy Texas. I acknowledged Texas, which is exactly what you did, and then moved to LSU. I just think there's a ton of hype, and I don't know. I guess it'd be an interesting stat to look up how many times teams have gone back to back in the same stadium because of the new 9-game SEC schedule. We're going back to Death Valley. So I don't know the last time. I mean, maybe in the SEC or A&M specifically.
When we first got, we
went to Missouri twice.
Yeah, when we went to Ole Miss 2 year back-to-back years, like right when we got into the SEC. So 2012 and 2013, we played both of those games at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So
did we win both of those?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
we did.
So I guess that would be the last time they won.
Yeah.
2.
So we won. That's the one where Swope caught the pass in the end zone, in the back of the end zone, and then the next game, the 2013, that's where Johnny did all the running around and dove and caught the pylon. I remember that. So I think we won 2013. I know we won 2012.
Yeah, we won 13. I was there.
Okay.
Yeah, we won that one. That was what Lambeau walked it off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We had a field goal to win. Yeah.
The turf in that stadium is garbage.
That stadium is garbage. I mean, it's like a high school stadium. So.
Oh man.
I have opinions. No, like the turf was like you could pull it a little bit. Like it wasn't like stretched tight.
Well,
yeah, it seems like a tripping hazard.
Seems like one, yes. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today on the Fan Show.
Ladies.
It's always a pleasure. We appreciate you so much. I hope you both enjoy your 4th, even though we've got a week. I know at least one of y'all will be
4th week.
Enjoying your 4th tremendously. But
let's go.
Tomorrow you've got more of the Tex Gals on TexAgs Live, so make sure you tune in. We've got a packed show planned for Friday. Don't go anywhere. We will see y'all tomorrow. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. This is TexAgs Live presented by David Gardner Schultz.